What was FFS like for me? Well, I'm about to tell you. Remember, thumbs up the video and subscribe. Click the bell so you get the notifications when I post new content. So, what was FFS surgery like for me? Here we go. Check it out. Hey, so let's talk about FFS surgery. What was it like for me? Well, it was very different than all the other surgeries I've ever had, and probably pretty intense by comparison. I'd had top surgery before, but FFS was pretty intense, even though we only worked on the top half of my face. So we'll start from the beginning. I had to go see my surgeon and talk about why I needed FFS. And we came to the conclusion that dysphoria drove me to need it, and that my life would be fulfilled ever so slightly more, and I could live a better life by being able to blend in as female. So the decision was made between my therapist, who referred me to the surgeon, and the surgeon, who then decided it was right for me to move forward, that we would schedule a date. And it does take quite some time. It's not exactly something that happens on a snap. So after months and months of waiting, the date came due, and it's kind of a countdown, and you think about it, oh my gosh, it's a month, oh my gosh, it's a week, oh my gosh, it's 2 weeks. I have videos where I posted exactly that as I got closer and closer to the date. And it is a very exciting process, but it is something that you'll walk into with a bit of anxiety unless you're cast iron. And believe you me, I've been through many, many surgeries in my lifetime after being torn in half on a motorcycle wreck, that sometimes surgeries do give me a little worry. However, when you're doing a surgery that's well planned, thought out, and put together just for you, it's a breeze. So let's go through the details. Once the surgery date arrived, you have to have someone to take you there, and you have to have someone to take you home. In my case, since it was rather extensive, they did a brow shave where they removed bone tissue from above my eyebrows. They actually remove the little cranial area here, the bone, and they remove it so that they're not making it too thin over the sinus area, which is great because you don't want a really brittle, thin little spot there. And then they shave everything down, kind of bevel the edge of the bone so that it fits back into the smaller space, and then kind of bone glue it in. And honestly, you wouldn't have known this until they told you that's what was going on. Sorry, my voice is still hoarse from vocal surgery, but it's getting better. And you're really rather swollen, and yeah, it's a process. You're all wrapped up. And I have a picture of myself right as I'm waking up in the bed, all wrapped up like a mummy. And there are some videos in the past. If you want to go back and look at those, you can see how bruised up I was and how quickly I recovered. So once you actually get to the hospital, you're going to fill out some paperwork. You're going to wait in the waiting room. Then they're going to call you in, and you're going to get to a place where you can start disrobing. I recommend you tell them, hey, I'm going to go potty real quick before I disrobe. Otherwise, you have to wander around the hallways after they ask you, do you need to go to the restroom before we take you into the surgery suite? And you're thinking, yeah, I could probably do that. But you just have this one little gown on with the back open. So plan in advance and give yourself the space and the permission to ask, hey, can I go use the restroom real fast? I'll be right back. And they're fine. Don't worry. They're not going to lose your seat. So you get disrobed, they put EKG monitors on you, they put an IV in you, all sorts of stuff. Check your blood pressure. Everything is leading up to you going into the surgery suite. And you're just going to chill out there for a while. They put a blanket over you, they've got some hot air piped in, and warm air. They keep you nice and warm, you know. Everything's going really well. They may actually even give you some anti-anxiety meds at that point in your IV. I don't know if they do for me or not. I tend to joke with the nurses, keep a light-hearted feel to it. Don't be stressed out. The people there who are helping you, they're people too. And they love to joke around and have a good day at work, so engage them. All of that being said, I like to kind of take a nap beforehand if I can. And in my case, during FFS, waiting in the gurney to go into the OR, I did a little tiny nap. Then they wheel you in and you get to see everybody. They rattle off all of their things, you know, who they are, what they're going to do, and the way they're going to proceed doing it. Every single one in the OR is going to do that because that's the procedure these days. Then they're going to sedate you and put you out. And that's typically something down your IV. And they'll talk to you, or long gone are the days of them asking you to count backwards. They try to engage you, get you to talk a little bit, and then they know when you stop talking, you're night-night. And with me, that's so very true because I talk a lot. So that all went pretty well. Then all you have to do is relax because you're asleep. So don't worry. You're going to wake up in your bed and have a really bad headache, but you're on a lot of pain meds, so it's managed. It's okay. It's no big deal. You're going to do fine. You don't have to stress out. Everyone's there to take care of you. And I stayed there overnight. So I got dinner and watched TV and sleep, hang out with the people who I brought with me. My dad came with me, and so I hung out and talked to him and then napped on and off. He went down and got a hot dog or something to eat and then came back. You just try to relax, sleep it off, get some fluids. You know, they're going to rewrap your head a few times. They're going to do some wound care. They're going to talk about what they're doing so you kind of absorb it because you'll have to do it yourself, or the person who you have helping you will be doing it for you. The next morning, I felt a lot better, felt a lot more human. A lot of the meds had worn off as far as anesthesia, but my pain meds were doing fine. I just had a really bad headache. I think I even mentioned that in the video. I think the very first thing I said when I woke up is, I have a headache. So, and that's to be expected. I mean, come on. That's a lot of work up there. Now, I didn't have anything done on the jaw. As much as I think it would be great to have a mini facelift, which I'll probably do, that's cosmetic, and I didn't have the money. I would have loved to get some volume in the cheeks, but again, I didn't have any extra money. And I would have loved to take some of the dermal strip when they did the brow lift, because they brought my hairline forward and my brow up, so they removed a section of dermis right there. They can take a strip of that dermis, get the little fatty tissue off of it, and lace it through your lips from the inside so you have plumper lips. Well, I would have loved that too, but I couldn't afford it. So what I got was a brow shave, a brow lift, a hairline lowering, and a lip lift, where they make an incision below your nose and cut out a strip and bring your lip up. And believe me, I'm really happy with what they did. It did wonders for feminizing my features in my face. And it's not overdone. I love that everything is subtle. It looks a lot like what I would look like if I was born female. And that was my whole goal. So really pleased with that. Even if my born female has a lot of gels. I have to go and get me the little mini facelift. Anyway, it was weeks of recovery. And if you want to go back and look at my past videos, you'll see how I progressed. It really was pretty quick. The first week is the toughest, but you get through it. And honestly, you can wrap your own head and face and all that right from the get-go. I pretty much did. I had a friend here or there help me with it once in a while, but honestly, not as bad as you would think. Because your arms aren't sore from top surgery or something like that. You have good mobility and you just want to rest and relax. I went to work very quickly because I got bored, and I like to keep my mind on something so I'm not just focusing on the pain. Leading up to going, I'll remind you, cut salt out of your diet during this time. Salt supercharges your nerves, makes them send really loud signals to your brain, which then says, hey, I'm in a lot of pain. Whereas if you're pretty well hydrated and not a lot of salt on board, your nerves are just kind of like kicking around with the right amount of electrolytes in your body, and it's not going to send this great big loud over volume up to 11 signal to your brain about pain. That helps me a lot. And I know that when I've mentioned this to others, they've said, hey, that kind of works for me too. It's doable. The pain is not so incredible you can't manage it. I know from experience what crazy pain is. Let me tell you something about crazy pain. So crazy pain is when you've had a really bad motorcycle accident. Crazy pain is when your pelvis has been broken open, your right leg's nearly tore off, your left arm is nearly tore off, both wrists are shattered, and you're lying in a bed for 3 months and can't move. The problem with crazy pain is it becomes surreal. I remember telling a nurse, hey, the person like in the next bed or the next room, because I couldn't look over, is so loud screaming, I can't sleep. And I feel bad for this person, but I really need to rest. I haven't slept in days. And the nurse looked at me and said, oh, honey, that's you screaming. Are you joking? No, it can't be. Oh my gosh, I'm the one screaming. That's when it gets surreal. This isn't that. This is like super inconvenient. Yeah, I got a wicked headache. I got through it. And I have to say, I absolutely love the results. I feel so much more confident. What does FFS do for you? Gives you confidence. Will it make you beautiful? Well, not in my case, but it makes me female and I feel more confident. So that's what I got out of FFS. I hope all of that helped you. Now remember, if you're looking for a live ear to listen to and others who have gone through FFS or just want to talk about trans-related topics, go to transgenderpulse.com. Great place, great resources. You can find a therapist in your area, searchable by location. That's hard for me to say. And I used it and loved it. Take care of yourself. No, I truly care about all the things that are happening with you. And if Jackie can go through this, so can you. Take care. You're not alone. Remember to like and subscribe so we get the algorithm for YouTube really punched up. We want to help as many people as possible. Take care of yourself. I'll see you next time. Bye.